I know we have, oops. I know we have a number of things that we wanted to catch people up on. Last call we had, the Showcase app wasn't working or wasn't available at that point. So we wanted to have Christoph kind of go through some of those things. And I know that there's two other discussions on the table for today. One is around a possible Kiali plugin, and then another one is around Ansible integration. So Christoph, do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay. I'm just gonna move my laptop here. Make sure you can hear. If anybody has a problem hearing, just let us know, please. Oh, and I should also, I'm going to put the agenda / minutes in the chat in case somebody wants to add something. Please feel free to do so.
Okay, so a few updates we did on the Showcase app that we wanted to show at the last call, and the app was getting updated. So we wanted to show, like on the tech radar, we added some a bit more data, so you can see what the page could look like. And we also externalized that data, so that would be pulled from a JSON that you can host anywhere, and that's just easier to update without having to like restart or rebuild and redeploy backstage. We also did some updates in the software catalog. We have added some content in the tech docs. So now when you go to the tech docs page, you can see some like an example. So you can see what that could look like if you want to explain what, how to use Backstage, how to onboard a user, how to migrate applications, or stuff like that. So we'll continue to add more content. But this is already like a first step. So this is actually real data, real documentation. And we also have a pipeline. So every time a non-technical person wants to update the documentation, we have the TechDoc pipeline that will automatically generate the HTML and publish it to a S3 bucket. The other thing also was in terms of dependencies. So we just wanted to have a better, to show what you could see from this page. So before that was mostly just the application itself, but there now you can see, for example, the resources that we are using. So CD or a database, Keycloak, the S3 bucket, and then on the depends on resources, then you can see the list of things that the showcase is using. So that just give a nice overview of what you could see. And then when you click, then you will see the details of each of these resources. That's going to come next, and also we'll also set up some APIs example. I think that was it for the and just various updates here and there.
I was just going to say, are there any updates to plugins? The plugins haven't been in, the new plugins haven't been installed.
I think we are one version behind for the topology.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything else should be pretty much up to date. Just not, it's not really like any visual things or like features. So.
Okay, great. Anybody have questions or comments around that?
Yeah, I have a question. So, is it possible to use the showcase for brief demos for customers? Or is this not possible? For sure it's possible, but is it intent to do this also? Can I, for example, instantiate a template and showcase how that would work? Or would you recommend that I deploy an own Backstage application for that?
Well,
One sec. Yeah, since you know, it's Stefan, I think we'd rather not talk about customer conversations on this call since it is a community call, but yeah. I think maybe if you ping us in Slack, that would be really helpful. If you don't mind, sorry about that.
No, fine.
Thank you. Because we do have a solution for that, so we can talk offline. Okay, I think I see a couple of the Kiali folks have joined as well, so thanks for joining. And I think we did add a call, I mean, an item onto the agenda just around the Kiali, possibility of a Kiali plugin. So I know we've got couple people from the actual Kiali team, as well as at least one other person who's been thinking about doing a Kiali plugin. So I don't know if y'all wanted to just share with us your thoughts on how that might, what you were initially intending, or what use cases you'd pull into Backstage. I think there was a conversation around taking what you've done and as a dynamic plugin and put it into the OpenShift console and pulling that in.
Kind of. So I'll go, but Alberto, please jump in at any point because Alberto is the one that's working closely on it. So we started, if you remember, with a console, an OpenShift console plugin for Kiali, which is currently working, and we're working on making it native, or as native as possible, because it was based on, it was basically a proof of concept and went out as a dev and tech preview. What we plan to do for the Backstage side for Janus is basically to use the same approach and put the so use that as presence for OSSM and Backstage, so that people can use that as a plugin directly. Of course, tell us if this is a good idea, right? I think we have a chat planned for this very reason soon enough anyway. But this was our initial plan. And please, Alberto, if you have more details that you want to share, do so.
So interference, I don't know. I don't know if you can hear me. Opening the issue in the repo, or idea, like Tommaso told you, is that if I to be a iNet or OpenShift dynamic plugin, like the Backstage one, and try to be there as soon as possible. So from Kiali, we are seeing how to start with the plugin. We have some prerequisites for it, such as having history in the user environment. I don't know if this is something can do it, or is more from the administrator perspective, but we are investigating about that. We are still landing, so we have no more information related.
Francisco, I know that you've also been thinking about that Kiali plugin. Yeah, and you've just raised your hand.
Yeah.
Want to jump in?
Yeah, hi everyone. Yes, actually, I have a customer that is requesting that feature. I think we were the first one to request that. It's because in these customers, we are implementing Service Mesh and also implementing the Janus project on it. And they want to have, well, they saw the dynamic plugin that you were mentioning, Tommaso. So they would like to have that same experience on Backstage, right? But from the developer perspective, not the admin perspective, right? So they want to have something similar, like adding an annotation into an entity of a service or a web page, something like that, and be able to see the graph related to that service and everything that related to their ecosystem, right? To that piece of software that gets annotated, right? Not having like a global view, just the view of how their component is behaving in the ecosystem. So we can talk more about it later, but that's like the initial requirement that I have from the customer. And if you need more detail or something like that, we can arrange a meeting with them. They are more than open to work with us. So it's perfect.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, it's perfect. Absolutely, reach out to us, to the team. We have a team channel on Slack, so you can reach us there. Reach us through email, no problem. You can email me and Alberto, and we'll.
Yeah, I think we are on the same email chain that Serena sent. I think we are all there, so we can keep the conversation there.
Perfect. Sounds great. We should definitely do it. Also, because they seem to need some kind of specialized plugin too, which would be interesting for us also to do. So, great.
Yeah, maybe we can figure out too, like if we can phase requirements or use cases and create multiple epics to be aligned with those, that would be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we start with something more generic and then drill down to the more specific cases.
Yeah, yeah. And I forget if your Kiali visualization, is that using Patternfly now?
No, but it's interesting because we are investigating exactly that to switch to Patternfly, which will be a bit. So there are complications because Kiali uses Cytoscape at the moment, which has quite a few features more, and it's fine. We'll just have to implement a few of them, right? So we're also investigating what's missing, what we need, but the investigation is ongoing at the moment. So
Okay. The reason I was mentioning that is just because a couple of people on our team have implemented topology for Backstage, which is Patternfly. So we can
Yeah.
connect you too if you have questions on that.
Absolutely, and we were looking into that exactly for that reason because we wanted to maintain consistency
Mhm.
in the UX. So it's
Gotcha.
great if we exchange all knowledge that is already there. It's the
Awesome.
best possible scenario.
And then if that new issue that you created about Curly, if you can keep it up to date after like some discussions, so everybody can follow, because we're not on that private thread. So
Yeah.
yeah, as long as it's like generic and
Yep. Makes
For
sense.
sure. For
Do you
sure.
guys have an idea of when you might have time to start working on that? Is that something you think you could do in the next couple of months, or is that just future?
So the plan. So currently, let's call it a spike. We're investigating it, but we're investigating it to do it, right? So the plan is to jump on it as soon as possible because we see the importance of it. So
Okay.
it's definitely one of the main priority list.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions about Kiali then, or comments? No. All right, great. Let's move on. The next one is around Ansible integration. So I guess I don't know if anybody on the call has been people that I've been speaking to about this, but I've had a number of conversations with some customers that are looking to have Ansible playbooks pulled in into their catalog. That's one requirement. And then the secondary requirement is to be able to have some kind of self-service capability for developers to be able to run those Ansible playbooks. So I'm just curious if there's anybody here who has similar requests or questions at this point.
Serena, is it possible I get some time with you? I've been doing a lot of work with Ansible Tower and AAP.
Yes.
Okay, because I've been doing some stuff with Christian Adams in that group to be
Okay.
able to make AAP Kubernetesable.
Okay.
And this actually, I think, especially with the scaffolding, this kind of flows together, I think, really well.
Okay. That would be great. We actually I know that I've talked to 2 customers who are super interested in this, and one of them is actually offered to actually do implementation if we have an approach that we want to suggest. So yeah, let me set up some time with you as soon as possible, and then we can update the issue and make some plans.
Absolutely perfect.
Okay,
Awesome.
great. Thanks, Ryan. All right, and then next up, I see Oleg.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is the right call for it, but I just wanted to follow up with the Quay security plugin. I wanted to ask basically, did we want to mirror like one-to-one the functionality from the existing Quay security details page? Excuse me. Or did we want to do something else where, oh, I see Tom in the back. I have a demo basically already kind of showcasing how this works. I can just show it real quick, but what I wanted to get your opinion on was which direction we wanted it to go.
Yeah,
At the moment, so at the moment, I have it set up so you can expand it out. The description's not fancily styled, but I didn't know if we actually wanted it, so I didn't bother with that. But we have like the same icons. I tried to mirror it one-to-one. It doesn't have the pagination because it needs something custom. We could probably build that in, but like again, I didn't want to spend too much time if this is something that we didn't want.
Do we think we need the description?
Can we go? Can we go from the view where you have the list of the tags, like the top level Quay view?
What do you? Oh, yeah. It's just if you go to the when you start out. Okay, so this is the flow. Is you start out in the catalog, and then you would go to like Backstage Showcase, and then you go to Quay, and it would start performing the security scan. This one apparently doesn't have it. The Copilot Ops one does. So it would wait a bit, then it links you to the actual vulnerabilities page that queries it. And then at this point, if you have a problem with it, you can say, oh, here's the link to like this details page. And then you could open up a new tab. I'm going to share this tab instead. And then you could just paste that in. And it's going to be the same thing because it's just routed by the digest.
Yeah. And the link on the link icon,
icon, yeah.
that means what?
Oh, this takes you to the advisory page that Red Hat has.
Okay, right.
So
Let me show you. So
But
it's not loading at the moment for whatever reason, but this does take you to the Red Hat page for that specific CVE. And then if we go to, I don't think there's any other links. Yeah, it's just that.
do we need the description here?
I don't know if we need it. I'm sorry, was it directed to me?
It was just open actually to anybody. Do you mind opening it up again? I'm just, because I think if
Yeah.
we keep it, we'd want it formatted differently, but I'm not sure.
So this is how it looks.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
is the description of?
It's the description of that
Yeah.
vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
You might have to anyway click on that link to have access to all that information.
To understand
with
the
fix or,
remediation.
yeah.
And whatnot. You
So
still
maybe
need-
we don't need the description here.
Okay.
No.
Then there's also the, so where is it?
And I think from the UX point of view, we need to draw a line where
How
like
much could go?
how much we're
Yeah, I
pulling,
agree.
where we want the user to direct them to Quay actually, or
Yeah.
container security. And like,
Definitively, we don't want to
Yeah.
duplicate the work of every
Precisely.
plugin
Right.
for something that already exists.
Yeah, that was my concern with it. This is the, just to familiarize, this is the security details page for Quay itself. So it also has the advisory stuff, has the link. And then this is what the description looks like. I don't know if this is too much to, I think this would be, well, I'll have to look, but this is what it looks like on their end.
Feels like that's a little too much to pull in, I think, at the
Yeah.
first stage,
Okay.
unless we get requests to bring it in, I think.
True.
Yeah,
I think I would suggest that we not put the description in for
at
now.
that point, we're
You guys
completely
okay with that?
replicating Quay UI.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
And we want to have like the plugins also having like consistency. So like the JFrog Artifactory with X-Ray, or to have like similar experience.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that all the screens will kind of look, or we have the same features in it.
I'm also curious about Francisco, because I think he did the initial contribution of Quay, right?
Yep.
Curious on your thoughts.
Yeah. Actually, I was about to comment on this. I was following this issue, by the way. So I showed this to the customer where we implement this, and it's actually working right now. And they love what they saw here. And I didn't show the description. They were happy just to having the view with the vulnerabilities and the vulnerability count. And in my case, I think they are going to open a new issue for that, in order to have the widget, the circle with the
Yeah,
with the vulnerabilities.
Yeah, that's
Just that, in order to be able to put that into the overview page.
Yep.
Just that. But with this information, it's more than enough for them. That's the feedback that I have for the customer, from the customer.
Yeah.
Would it,
And related to the, I think Christoph speak on the background from the X-ray perspective on the other registry, it shows the same information here in this part. It is the same.
Yep.
The difference happens on the description. So if we remove that, we can almost use this functionality as it is also for the X-ray component.
okay.
So I
So-
think it's a win there.
All right. So in that case, what would you guys think about having a link on this page? Obviously, it would need to go above the table, but having a link that goes from this page to like, it basically links you to just the same tag page, but on the actual Clay website with all the extra details.
Yeah, do we have is there a convention today for how you link out to, like, do they do that? They don't do that in Argo, right? Yeah, I'm trying to think
They
if there's a,
don't.
yeah,
No, no.
because I know we've got a request to do that for Argo as well, so we,
Yeah,
maybe
we have
we
a
figure
pending
out what.
PR for Quay to actually link to
Yeah.
the
The repository.
Oh,
the Quay UI
Okay.
for tags or for the images. And in upstream backstage, there is no convention for this. You need a separate configuration of value because the proxy path and all of this works through backstage proxy. The proxy target is not exposed to the front end. So it's a backend accessible value only. So you need a separate value to basically construct the link for the base URL to know where the query is located.
Could I not just use like an A tag for it and just put the whole URL in there?
I think that's a bit of a magic happening then, and like you don't know where the query is actually hosted. A query UI actually hosted.
Yeah.
Is it the same base host as the registry, or is it somewhere else? So
That makes sense. Okay, so we don't need to do that for now then.
like
So then it,
with your current work with the vulnerabilities page, I think this is more than enough for a first pass on this.
okay,
And in future issues, we can revisit this with the circular chart of vulnerabilities and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's for future. I wouldn't bother with it for now. I would review this as is and merge this as is and get your feedback based on that.
Well, I think we just need a back button to go back to the list of images.
We can do
Yeah,
that in
yeah.
review, but
But
yeah.
otherwise, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good to go. Yeah.
okay. So just the back button to take you back to the like list of tags.
Yeah.
Okay, I could do that.
Yeah, otherwise, currently you have to click back on Quay and or like exit, come back, and so on.
Yeah. Like there's no pattern in Backstage how to do this properly. So every plugin implementing the subrouter, or how it's called, subrouter, is implementing it on their own and then creating their own patterns. So I would stick to what the upstream plugins are using, so like GitHub Actions and whatnot, for the my English doesn't work today.
You're fine.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Tom, I know there is no pattern there, but when the issue was created about the link of to the web console, I searched on the plugins and I noticed that the Argo plugin does exactly the same with the UI component. They add a specific tag, a specific parameter for the Argo CD UI.
Yeah.
With the other configuration. So I think that's the same as us. But I also was looking about patterns and how it's being implemented, and I noticed that the recommendation from the Backstage team is like stop using the proxy component on Backstage. But I'm going to search for the exact when they mention that, because they mentioned that all the plugins should implement a backend plugin, even if they just do proxy, right? They don't do nothing special, because I'm quoting here, as I remember, they say, we hopefully want to remove the proxy component from Backstage in the future, right? So that's for a long time, right?
I mean, I don't like this because you're moving from a configuration to code change again, and this is not the direction we want to go. So,
I mentioned that because we're gonna be part of the conversation there.
Yeah. Think you link it to me, and we can maybe chime in and voice our concerns there.
I have to agree with Tom. I think that the less code, the better.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so I'll go. So you said the Argo CD implements the back button.
GitHub Actions.
Okay. All right, I'll look at how they do, and then I'll just put the same type of thing in here.
Optimal too, but let's see. When you click, you have the next view, and you have to click.
Yeah.
Here, so like maybe an arrow or something. Yeah.
We can do it better. Like if you pull up the Backstage storybooks, nothing like that is there. So we can do whatever we decide is the best UX.
It should be like an arrow and saying back.
Yeah, I mean,
We can deal with that in the
Later.
review
Yeah.
and just implement something basic, and then we can then.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the time being, we could just put like a little link up here above the where it says vulnerabilities with the back arrow that just says back to tags.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
That's ideal for now.
All right, so I'll add that, and then I'll revert these changes. I did push this up to the remote, so I'll just add that, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks,
That's great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna go back and look at if there's anything else in the agenda. I think that's all we had. Is anybody else on the call want to talk about anything? The other thing we could do is, I don't know if Divyanshi or Jay are on the call, but they're not. But would you be comfortable with pulling up their PRs and just showing like what the latest version of the topology or pipelines are, or should we wait on that?
Sure. Yeah, well, we can keep that for next time. Let me check. I don't think for topology we have anything, but the
side panel?
panel.
I thought, but maybe not. Yeah, just give us 1 second. We'll just take a look at something real quick here. This is air. Okay, I think I can share my screen. I can't necessarily talk to it, but I can share my screen.
Yeah.
So there's an outstanding PR right now. So that's being reviewed. And this was pulling in the pipeline run visualization from OpenShift console into the pipeline plugin. So if people are interested in looking at that, there's a couple of I think there's a couple of PRs available. Is that? Yeah, 2 available. Kind of showing what this is looking like today. So this will be great to get in soon. And the topology one, I think the topology one was just implementing the side panel. I don't know. Yeah.
And it's very nice.
Oh, it's right here, I think.
It's the pull request
226,
226.
yeah.
Videos are
The better the video, yeah, okay. Oh,
it's
weird, huh? Okay, I can't get it any larger. Maybe I can do this.
I think
Yeah, so
explain
it's, again, pulling out that, implementing the side panels, very similar to what we had in console, OpenShift console dev perspective, and pulling that into the plugin for topology, which is great. So soon we'll have that merged as well. So those 2, actually Tecton was the last plugin that we kind of had on our roadmap for this quote unquote quarter, meaning through June. So we're pretty close to all of our first deliverables. So that's great. Anything else?
I think that's it.
No? Did you have anything?
not much. Nothing extra.
Was that, did you talk about that new plugin? I'm sorry, not plugin, template. This one here, the Argo. Did we ever talk about that one?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, we have a few new templates. So this one is to add Argo CD support to an existing application. So that would just create a new repository, like and upload the manifest. So if you have a like a legacy app or an app that has not been created necessarily from Backstage, and you would like to migrate from an existing system to Argo CD, then you can use this this template.
Great. All right. Anything else from anybody on the call? All right, I guess we're done. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a good
Thanks
day.
all. See ya.
Bye.